This video is going to be my reaction video to the Ravens' 37-31 win over the Rams at home in Week 14. Certainly not a day where the Ravens played complementary football in terms of all three phases of the game operating together at a high level, or at least at our typical standard. Still able to pull out a win that to me would be, to be honest with you, would be far less satisfying were it not for the manner in which the Ravens prevailed. Tylan Wallace's 76-yard punt return pushes the Ravens to 10-3, a home win on a day when the defense really struggled, clearly. It kind of reminded me of an old boxing match that I thought was kind of classic. And if you haven't seen it, it's Meldrick Taylor versus Julio Cesar Chavez from sometime in the 90s. Taylor's winning, a brilliant performance by him. Speed fighter, a little smaller than Chavez. Gonna win a decision, and Chavez wears him down. Knocks him out with 2 seconds. Well, TKO, very controversial call by Richard Steele. The only problem with my analogy is the Ravens tonight, or today, we were not the fighter working the body, systematically breaking a team down. We were the big play team. And with the brilliance of Lamar, obviously on offense, made a lot of things possible. Whereas in that analogy I used, Julio Cesar Chavez in a lot of ways would be the Rams today. This time, Meldrick Taylor won. When I say complementary football, I mean all three phases playing at a high level. The standard, that's the standard to me if you want to win a Super Bowl. But there's going to be games where the offense plays well and the defense does not, or vice versa. Sometimes you have to win 21-14. Sometimes you have to win 37-31. It's a good sign that we were able to adapt and overcome against a Rams team that came in with a 3-game winning streak. I do not subscribe to the theory that Rams team is a Super Bowl caliber team or something that is among the highest level teams in the league. Credit to them for their style of play and what they did. In my opinion, the Ravens did not meet the standard today. If you're looking for positivity in terms of the overall viewpoint or evaluation here, it just does not exist if you're being realistic. You're welcome to feel different about it than I do from that angle, so I'll deal with that a little later in terms of defensively. But the offense was hitting on a lot of big plays, clearly in the first half at least. I'll let some of the stats flow here. Hopefully that font is not too small for you. It should be offense stats, defense stats, and then team stats. When I say complementary football, in the first half, the offense scores 17 points. 2 big plays, the touchdown to Likely, the touchdown to OBJ. Meanwhile, the defense is getting torched by multiple run concepts and some big plays in the pass game. Then we come out in the third quarter. The defense got stops. I think we stop them the first 4 possessions in the second half. So credit to Mike McDonald and those guys for being able to adjust something and slow down the run game more. Meanwhile, the offense, well, we did get a field goal in the third quarter. Then we give the Rams 2 points with the safety. We weren't operating at highest level of efficiency on all 3 phases of the football. To me, that's what I expect. If we want to be who we say we are, then we come out and we play better defensively than we did today. And the special teams does, well, maybe not things like they did tonight consistently, but we play better than we have during the year. I don't think we've been a very good special teams. Anyway, to come out of all of that and win the game the way we did, on I think a beautiful example of effort and heart and awareness by those guys on that punt return. And I'm going to put it in terms that we used to talk about, but I got to use different numbers because it's an NFL team. The 40th through 50th players on our roster, with 51, 52, and 3 being our punter, our kicker, and our long snapper. The 40th through 50 players on our roster, 50th players on our roster, won that game on that particular play. You need them to win some instances, win some sequences. And in this case, they happened to win the biggest one. Tylan Wallace stayed on his feet up the left sideline to return the punt 76 yards for the game-winning touchdown. Classic win. I think we'll all remember where we were when that happened. It was a heck of a lot of fun to watch that play. A lot of guys deserve great effort or deserve credit for their effort on that play. Trenton Simpson, Delshon Phillips, Charlie Kolar, I think, got someone to the ground. First watch, I thought maybe it was a block in the back by him, but then I watch it again, it's not. Tavius Robinson, I think, is in there. Justice Hill with the final block to clear the way. I believe Arthur Millett's on the field. Just an example of the depth of your team making a game-winning play. And credit, Tylan Wallace, like not even supposed to be the returner, right? He didn't start the day returning punts. Duve did, and I guess maybe Duvernay went out with an injury. Just amazing moment for him to see a guy buried on our depth chart at receiver, can't even get on the field on offense. And then a bunch of our backups at other positions win the game in that way. Beautiful football that put a nice little cherry on top of a day that I thought was generally very sloppy defensively and offensively was disjointed, I think is the way Daryl Johnston described it, and I think it's pretty accurate. Have to mention the way Lamar played, not just throughout the day. 316 yards passing, 3 TDs, the final of which was that shocking play, that 3rd and 21 strike to Zay Flowers. I thought it was a great throw, great job by Lamar, but the 2-point conversion play might be even more impressive. I can't wait to see the All-22 view at it. I'll try to look at it again this evening and maybe put something on Twitter. The 2-point conversion play to me looked like trips right A with the running back to the right and Lamar pushing out to the right like a sprint out situation. And then I thought he like sidesteps a defender, or maybe there's an offensive player blocking someone. He just steps to the side of that and then sticks that throw in there to Zay along the right sideline in the end zone. Just an incredible moment from the standpoint of Zay Flowers, who had 2 drops earlier in the game, making the go-ahead touchdown catch, not game-winning, because our defense gave up the tying field goal, but then the 2-point conversion to put us up by 3. Thought was a moment that illustrates Lamar's brilliance and Zay Flowers as well. Forgive me, I lost my mic for a second there. One thing I have to give Lamar credit for is his willingness to throw deep, and we hit 2 of them today, Likely and then OBJ. The touchdown to Likely, he's wide open. He's absolutely wide open, and I think that Lamar is just confirming that no one's going to react to that, and that's why the ball was there a little bit late, but it's no problem because Likely is so open. The 46-yard touchdown to OBJ is just brilliant stuff from OBJ, Lamar, Monken to call the concept. Some people call it double move. It's just really sluggo, but deeper down the field. That ball seemed to turn OBJ around a little bit, but I'm not sure if you've noticed, one of the things Lamar seems to be really good at is protecting his players. And I suspect that the reason why he threw the ball over the other shoulder is, well, first of all, it's raining, so that could have been a factor. But I suspect that Lamar maybe saw someone, a safety, who potentially could respond if the ball was thrown more towards the left hash, more towards the left upright, if you will, on the goalpost. I've always thought he's great at throwing the ball away from the defenders. It does go down as a touchdown, but those 2 plays I don't think are well-thrown balls if you were just to isolate them and look at, is it thrown in time? Is it thrown, but Likely so wide open, and both of them go down as touchdowns. Now, the interception to Bateman, that was clearly underthrown. That was a poor throw. A lot of grass out in front of Bateman. That was one. There's just no justification for us to sit here and support and say it's a well-thrown ball. Nonetheless, when Lamar threw it, it came out of his hand like a rocket. And I thought, there's no way this is underthrown. If anything, this is overthrown. But still ended up being underthrown. Having said all that, to come out in 2 important situations, I'm talking about our 9th possession that bridges the 3rd and 4th quarter, where we take the lead 23-22. He had an amazing 16-yard scramble on that drive. He had a completion to Flowers on a 3rd and 5 for 6 yards. He also had a great throw to OBJ with a lot of time in zone, I think for 8 yards on a 2nd and 8. Additionally, there's a 2nd down in there where the Rams use sticks blitz 0. I mean, oh, by the way, people are still doing it because they want to remove Lamar's potential to scramble from the list of possibilities. You can't blame them, right? You want to, okay, they're going to beat us, make them beat us with this. Make them choose for them, and I'll come back to that concept in a little bit later in this reaction video. Choose for the offense. Remove one of their options. You probably understand what I'm already getting at. But that, to me, was a nice throw by Lamar to Flowers. Against stick split 0, Lamar was like fading back, and Flowers dropped it. But thankfully, we were able to get a touchdown there, or a field goal, excuse me. And then with us trailing 28-23, 4 minutes and 41 seconds left in the game, on a day where it's raining, the Rams controlled large stretches of the game, I thought, offensively at least. Just on a personal note, I sat and watched the game today with some family members, in-laws, and they don't watch Ravens games that often. And it was really cool to see their reactions to Lamar, to see their reactions to how he played. And some of them are football fans who just don't watch Lamar. And like one of them said, he was like, this guy throws the ball great. What are these people talking about? And I don't know about Imagine yourself in that situation, or I'll try to make a comparison. Like, imagine a song you love and you're playing it for someone who's a friend of yours, or a movie that you really enjoy and you're letting some friends see it for the first time. Like, I was just sitting there, like, kind of like a little Cheshire cat smile on my face, appreciating the fact that there's people who don't prejudge. And they were like, look at this throw. Now the one to Bateman, they were like, hey, that ball's on the throw. I was like, of course. But some of the things they said, like, holy S, he's unbelievable. Or another one was like, how did he see that? How did he see that opening? They showed the end zone angle kind of in his view, and a ball thrown over top someone. But in any case, let's talk about the 12th or 11th possession, I believe. It's the 11th possession, where 4:41 left in the fourth quarter. He takes us down the field. Credit to the Rams defense in some way. Number 53, their inside linebacker, far better football player than I thought. They kind of explained it during the game that he's been injured during the year. Some things make sense to me now because I did not expect that level of explosiveness and agility from him, and he was very active. 97 is another guy that I had not seen pop off on film, but I'll be honest with you, I watched one game of their defense, and I thought I had seen enough. I did think we'd be able to score points against them. If you were to ask me before the game, I'd say 25, 28 plus, and we did get there today, 37 with the benefit of the punt return. But credit to the Rams defense, mixing it up. Sticks blitz zero at times, three-man rush at times. Some of these plays that I want to mention here from this drive, 1st and 10 from the negative 37, should be a third play down for you. Again, we're trailing here 28-23. They've broken our defense from the standpoint of we had stopped them 4 possessions in a row to start the third quarter. And when I say they've broken our defense, meaning they broke through. They were able to score on us and get a lead 28-23. Three-man rush, Lamar escapes it for 9. That was a brilliant play that has to be frustrating for the Rams defenders on the field, their staff as well. Creates a 2nd and 1, complete to Flowers on snag flat for 4. And then I thought this was brilliant. Midfield, hurry it up. 11 yards to Flowers there. An incompletion later. 2nd and 10, from the 39. And the throw to OBJ, it's a little low. I'm not sure why it was low. Maybe Lamar was navigating something in the pocket. I didn't think there was as much pressure throughout the day as we've had in other instances this year. There was times in the second half where the Rams' pass rush seemed to be better. This drive, I thought there was 2. Aguilar played a role on this one. You have a 3rd and 5 from their 19 and a half, something like that. He gets a 6-yard catch for the first down. The play before that, he had the 5-yard catch. He definitely had an impact today. Looks to me like someone that Lamar is comfortable going to in 11 personnel when he needs to get the football to someone, maybe the 2nd and 3rd read. This situation with the sack, 1 minute and 28 seconds left or whatever I can't believe it. I'll talk about it a little bit more later on. My thoughts are probably going to come across as a partisan or a homer for the Ravens, but I thought the officiating today was extremely poor. I cannot understand why you're not allowed to call it a forward pass. What's the point of replay then? Why have replay if you can't make the right call? But in any case, it didn't matter. Lamar, the 3rd and 17 to Flowers. Beautiful moment from the 21-yard line. I don't know the coverage. It looked like man to me. I believe that Flowers came from the other side of the field, but I could be wrong, right to left, lined up on our right, crossed all the way over the field. I thought there was, ample time for Lamar, obviously, to make the throw. And then the beautiful finish on the QB sweep or fake QB sweep kind of. A little bit similar to a sweep pass that we've ran 3 or 4 times in the last couple of years where we typically throw it to a tight end. But this was trips. This was a wider number 1 and number 2 wide receiver, and Zay Flowers showed his character. I had just got done saying to my in-laws that, hey, Zay Flowers is the type of guy that offered $500,000 to leave Boston College and chooses to stay there in a difficult situation. I think that says a lot about his character, and they were just kind of in awe. It was neat to watch the game with people who aren't Ravens fans and don't prejudge. But in any case, that 2-point conversion puts us up 31-28. Our defense did blow it. More on that later. But that drive from Lamar, Monken, Aguilar, Zay Flowers was a thing of beauty. A bunch of guys contributing in high leverage moments. Now, the sack. What shocked me was there's discussion, there's whatever it was. There's no explanation. None. No explanation from the refs. They just said 3rd and 21 from from the 3rd and 17 from the 21-yard line, I believe. The fact that it's no explanation is the part that's frustrating to me. Because this is the same game where, and I'm referring back to an earlier sequence where the Ravens defense gets a stop, I think second quarter, maybe third. Second quarter, yeah. We catch the punt, fair catch, I think, by Tylan Wallace. Go to a commercial and come back to find out the Rams are getting the football back because we lined up off sides. Did we line up off sides? Yes. Was Lamar's knee down on that, quote, sack? No. If you're going to say your job is to get the call right, then we should be there to get the call right, number one. Number two, I'm not aware that there was a flag thrown on that play. How was that procedure followed on that punt, that stop, punt, and then the Rams get the football back? And they did, I believe, get points on that. So, I'm one of those people that thinks if the more the rules committee, the more the NFL, the people in the New York front office, the more they tinker with the rules, the more they're going to get wrong and the more they're going to mess it up. This game, to me, not to just today, the NFL in 2023 looks over officiated and in a lot of cases wrong-headed. In any case, back to Lamar, just a brilliant drive. Even though the Rams played some soft coverages at times, like I said, I thought they did a nice job. They played some soft coverages at times on that drive, I should say. Mixing it up all day, they forced us, the Ravens, our quarterback, our wide receiver, tight end, to process coverages post-snap. Very similar to what Mike McDonald typically does with those teams that drop back and throw a ton. Additionally, the run game was ineffective for most of the day. Let's do it this way. We ran for 139 yards on 26 carries. Keaton Mitchell had a 27-yard run that damn near is a touchdown, I think. He had a 27-yard run, and he had another gain of like 7 that was damn near a touchdown. There was an open seam, and he almost took it to the house. Lamar had a 16-yard scramble. If you take those away, we're 24 carries for 96 yards. I think the Rams defense did a nice job of limiting some of our choices, and we were still able to get things done. That's, to me, a credit to Lamar, illustrates how talented he is, and then also a credit to how much talent we have on offense, that we could score 31 points on a day when the run game was ineffective. Additionally, look at it this way. Lamar's been completing 68% of his passes this year. 9 of his 12 games, he's completed at 60% or above in the pass game coming into today. Today, he's at 55%, 24 of 43. I did think there was 3 drops in there, 1 by Likely and then 2 by Flowers. So to get the win, if we want to spin this in a positive way, to get the win on a day when the run game is inefficient, the Rams did a nice job mixing up coverages. I didn't think they got consistent pressure on Lamar. I don't know what the pressure numbers looked like, but it didn't look like other games where there's constant pressure. Lamar did have 70 of our rushing yards out of 139. So that 139 total is clearly due to him. We're used to that dynamic. We only complete 55% of our passes. And our defense got exposed as having a true Achilles heel again, the 11 personnel run game. All of those things occur, we're still able to squeeze out a win against a Rams team that had a 3-game win streak coming in. It's a great feeling, something we should celebrate and exhale. I don't know about you, but the moment Tylan Wallace regains his feet, and I think he reads Justice Hill's block, I think it was the long snapper, but I could be wrong, stays in bounds to win a game, I just exhaled. And then I threw my arms up in the air. It was freaking amazing. We haven't had great special teams play this year. And in fact, I don't think we've had consistent or good special teams play this year. The only one I'm remembering right now is we got a punt blocked. We also had a field goal blocked. I forget exactly by who. I think we've had an extra point either missed or blocked. Tucker's had some issues that we've talked about. I think 4 missed field goals from 47 yards or more. I don't use these words. I'm using these words intentionally. We've not been a good special teams team this year, if you ask me. But on this play, to finish the game when we needed it to get our 10th win, we were brilliant. Now I'm going to switch gears a little bit. I will forewarn you that I'm going to talk about our defense for a while and our 11 personnel run defense. We've talked about it for about 3 months since the Eagles preseason game, that it looks like an issue. It's constantly an issue. It's not just for the Ravens. It's difficult to stop the run game. If you've got receivers like the Rams do who can step in there and block, and you've got a under center package where the ball is, quote, hidden for a while from the defense, then there's going to be some times where blockers get out to you and wide receivers are at least able to get in the way, get in the window, and cause problems. And they did. I'm going to show you or illustrate to you some data that I tracked during the game. Under center. Okay, so the Rams are in 11 personnel every snap. 1 running back, 1 tight end, 3 wide receivers. But they're not under center every play. You're either under center, you're either in the shotgun, or it's pistol, or it's empty. It's really the only options you got, I guess. I mean, you could have more guys in the backfield, but still considered shotgun. First half, when the Rams gashed us with the run game, 23 plays under center. 19 of them were runs. In the first half, they had drives of 13 plays for 67 yards, the opening field goal, 7 plays for 75 yards, touchdown, 9 plays for 75 yards, touchdown. That's not a good defense in the first half. It's just not. All in the first half. When we did get stops in the second half, it occurred when we were usually able to hold the Rams' first down run play to 3 yards or less. So I think we did 3 times in the second half. When they were able to get 4, 5, 6 yards under center run plays, set up other complementary plays, the play action and such, particularly in the first half, they were able to control the game. Now you might say, well, Coach, what are you talking about? What are you saying we should do? I'm not sure exactly what we should do. I'm saying we should do more to make it more difficult, more challenging for Sean McVay's offense to execute those, I hesitate to use the word simplistic. They're under center. Stafford's either reverse pivoting or he's open into the play, one or the other. So there's natural complementary concepts built in there. And he's handing the football off. Or it's a play fake. That's it. They did run 1 jet sweep with Nakua. It's not like they ran 7 jet sweeps. I didn't see a reverse. I didn't see a screen under center. I saw 19 run plays and 4 play action pass plays in the first half. I think more should be done to remove Sean McVay's ability to choose. Meaning, you're under center, it's 1st and 10, you've been running the ball well, we're going to do more to try to stop the run right now, and if you go play action pass and you hit us for 25 yards, so be it. There has to be a point at which there's that kind of thought process, in my opinion. We let him choose. Look, is Mike Macdonald doing a great job in 2023? Unbelievable job. This here is our weakness, and I don't know, maybe you disagree, which really just means you refuse to recognize it or can't see it. The reality is the Browns at home in Baltimore in the second half, 11 personnel, run-pass balance. They took us to the woodshed. The Colts in week 3. It's a very similar game today to the Colts in week 3. The Eagles in the preseason. The Cardinals week 8, the first half on the road. 11 personnel run game. It's a problem. It is. And teams go to it because they recognize it is the issue, or one of the ways, to attack us efficiently. You may have a difference of opinion about how severe it is, no problem. But nonetheless, Kyron Williams, 25 carries for 114 yards. Rams were able to control the football in the first half. Really just shredded us, I thought. Ravens players on defense was reacting to everything. I didn't see us attacking. They, on the first possession, ran the ball 9 times. 9 consecutive times, going from the negative 24-yard line to the 9. And then for whatever reason, got in the shotgun and threw the ball 3 times. It was like, thank you, and we hold them to a field goal. Stafford at times did carve us up in the shotgun, don't get me wrong. It's not like all the Rams did was go under center and run the football. But I actually have withheld this last stat intentionally to see what reactions were to my first stat, that 19 out of 23 under center plays in the first half was run plays. For the game, it kind of balanced out a little bit in the second half. 9 runs, 7 passes under center. So you have 28 runs, 9 passes overall from under center plays today. Well, that leaves out 34 plays. 34 times today, the Rams were not in the under center. They were either in the shotgun or the pistol or empty 34 times. Take a guess. If there's people in my Discord, they already know the answer. Take a guess how many of those plays were run plays. Out of 34 times, the Rams were not under center today. I thought about not saying anything. I thought about withholding that information. It was 2. 32 passes, 2 runs from the shotgun, pistol alignment. You may say, well, Coach, it's 3rd down. That's true. What percentage do we need the Rams to be at in terms of run pass before we want Mike Macdonald to do a little bit more than he did today to stop the run or even just slow them down? It's not like, oh, you get an 8th guy in the box, oh, you bring corner. Mike Macdonald's the guy who knows the tactical operations there. Why aren't we recognizing it? That I don't want to slow death. against this Rams team. No disrespect to them. They did open the game with a physical drive. They have a very good offensive line. Give them credit for it. They got multiple run concepts from under center. I like their offense. I really do. I like what McVay does. Look, I don't know if you know this or not. It's just wing T, red and blue formation. There's no buck sweep. There's no trap. There's none of those things. It's zone concepts, outside zone duo, some toss, pitch, whatever. But formationally, compressed standpoint, this is just red, blue out of the wing T. Stop the run. Don't allow him to choose it. But in any case, the lack of identification of the run-pass tendency by the Ravens defense, that to me bothered me, and it may not bother you as much. Rams generated 216 yards in the first half on 39 plays, including 19 carries for 85 yards. 39 plays, 15 of which were first downs. I think that's like 42% of their plays were first downs. I may, have that. I just did it off the top of my head, so I may be wrong. To me, the Ravens defense was out-physicaled and out-schemed, and I didn't think players, particularly on the interior, D tackles, our outside linebackers, edge defenders, I didn't think they were in position to succeed today. Time of possession, first half, Rams dominated 19-20 to 10-40, almost 2-1. Thankfully, we had the two big plays there to sustain us and help us get to 17 points at the half. Halfway to 40 points at the halftime mark. That's what my note was. Halfway to giving up 40 points. Thankfully, we didn't, because if we gave up 40, we would have lost. Moving forward a little bit to the second half, the defense, I thought, did a much better job in the third quarter of stopping the run. The runs that I have charted, which is all of them in terms of the yardage, was far significantly less, in my opinion, in the second half than it was in the first half. So credit to McDonald and those guys for that. I do have one issue with our fourth quarter defense. We get four stops to open the second half. And then with 8 minutes left, I think 8:20 left, something like that. Maybe it's 8:40. Stafford gets the ball back. He scores 10 points in the last 8:40 or 8:30, something like that. It took him 4 minutes and 45 seconds to score those 10 points. Touchdown and then a field goal to force overtime. Now, we did get a stop in overtime. I don't know if you noticed it. There was 3 passes dropped. Nakua had a drop. Robinson's drop, or the ball that hits his hands in overtime, I think is high. I think Roquan's in the window. Daryl Johnston covered it well. So I don't know if I necessarily call that a drop, but there was a drop over the middle of the field by someone else in overtime that I thought would have changed the dynamic. To me, Johnston covered a lot of this game very well. I actually kind of like him being a commentator. It was a disjointed performance, was his description. I can't think of a better word. I called it complimentary football, or lack of complimentary football. Prior to those last 2 drives of the fourth quarter, the defense had done a much better job of slowing the run game down, putting Stafford in those positions where he's got to process things. I have to give Stafford credit. I thought twice he escaped pressure and was able to get the ball out to people. So really cool from a Rams perspective to see that. Second of all, twice I thought he changed the play at the line and was able to exploit what we had called. A third time they went hurry up on a third down to remove our ability to get some other play call in. I don't know exactly where it was. Overall, look, we gave up 24 first downs, over 400 yards of offense, 5.6 yards per play. I think 6 pass plays of 20 yards or more by my count. I might be wrong there. If I am, it's not off by much. I think 3 of them were 30 yards plus. They've got a great scheme, a very good O-line, 2 fantastic wide receivers in Kupp and Nakua, and Stafford is clearly getting more healthy. But there are more talented offenses that we will face. And if our standard is such that we'll accept the Rams coming in and 400 yards of offense, 219 of which was in the first half, on only 39 plays, 30 points scored against us, well, 31. If that's our standard as fans, then we're not a Super Bowl team, period. Or you don't think we are, and you're willing to accept us playing very poorly and inconsistently on defense. I do not believe that. I think this Ravens team can win a Super Bowl, but we have a very clear and obvious identifiable weakness, which is 11 personnel run game. Some guys on defense that I'll say I think had great moments. Roquan Smith played really well at times. I did think on at least one of our third and long coverages, he got such a deep drop that the tight ends and those delayed routes, man. It's the same thing Njoku did to us twice with the Browns in Week 10. Chip block on the edge, deal with the pass pro, and then release underneath of our coverage that looks like zone, and end up getting the first down. I can't remember the tight end's name. I think it's 87. He did that once. Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought it was a 3rd and 16 after a penalty on the Rams that pushed the ball back to like their negative 44, and they converted. Man, Kyle Van Noy, that dude put on a show on like 3 possessions today. The 9th possession, they go 11 personnel, and we're in our base defense. I don't know if you guys noticed this. It's the 9th possession, middle 3rd quarter, 1st and 10 from the negative 29-yard line. They go under center. To me, it looks like we're in our base defense. And Van Noy's the edge defender. The tight end tries to release out into the flats. Maybe it was 12 personnel. I have it marked as 11, but the tight end tried to release out in the flats. And Van Noy did an amazing job of trailing the tight end on that 1st and 10. The ball ends up being incomplete because Stafford chose to go to someone else. 2nd down and 2nd and 10 is complete to Nakua underneath. Then you've got the 32-yard gain to Kupp against Millette. We clearly did miss Kyle Hamilton. We kind of put Millette in a difficult situation there. I understand we got the coverage called, but, man, Arthur Millette on Cooper Kupp in the slot, you tell me who you think's going to win. I think Millette's had a great year for us. Anyway, 4th play of this drive, downhill run by Williams. The type of run that gave us trouble in the first half. Van Noy kicks the tight ends, you know what, folds inside and makes the tackle, limits to like a 2 or 3 yard gain. Very next play, 2nd and 7, is a reverse pivot that Roquan Smith is shot out of a cannon, gets a tackle for loss, and then the 3rd and 8 down on our 30-yard line. This was brilliant, and credit to Johnston again, talking about Charles Haley. It's a tackle for loss on a screen to Williams by Van Noy. And I was like, man, they're going to call helmet to helmet. I don't know if you guys saw the tackle or remember it. Van Noy, it's a brilliant play. Williams is dipping his head. Van Noy's going low, lower than where Williams' helmet was when he started his tackling movement or tackle move, and they bang helmets. In any case, it pushed them out of field goal range. Huge moment, if you ask me. I thought Van Noy played really well today, and on that particular sequence, the 9th possession, talking about 3 plays that he influenced, and one of which probably saved us giving up another 3 points, which ended up being important. And credit to Daryl Johnston for recognizing it immediately and talking about Charles Haley being a guy who used to do that often when the ball was in that high red zone or just outside the high red zone, I should say. Look, clearly Marlon Humphrey was not sharp. I guess we should expect more of him, and I do. I still would like the matchup of him on Demarcus Robinson most of the time. To me, it looked like we were having safeties help out on Kupp and Nakua in certain situations and leaving Marlon one-on-one with Demarcus Robinson, and Stafford went at it. Credit to Demarcus Robinson. He did us some good stretches of play for us in 2022, got more snaps today, and he produced. I had a touchdown catch against Brandon Stevens, had a big play against Marlon. Also, have to mention, Marlon almost sealed the game with the interception in the end zone, and Robinson's able to kind of knock the ball loose to basically be the defensive back in that moment. Another thing to mention about that is Matt Stafford thought that it was a good idea to go there. Would you, after last year, have said, hey, there's going to be a quarterback in the NFL, a really good quarterback, Matt Stafford, Super Bowl winning quarterback, look at that matchup and say, I'm going to go over there? No. To me, that means that Marlon doesn't look 100%, but, who knows? Well, there's a lot to consider there. Hopefully Marlon gets more healthy or plays better as the season advances. I didn't see Darby on the field at all. I don't know if you guys did. Please let me know. D tackles, I did not think we did a great job handling duo. Duo is straight double teams on the interior defensive tackles, giving the running back kind of like a 3-way go, if you will, with only 2 inside linebackers to fill. The Rams, I thought, ran duo 5, 6, 7 times today, maybe as much as 8, but sometimes it's difficult to tell whether it's inside zone or duo. On a broadcast view, you don't get to look at the end zone and run it back 3, 4, 5, 6 times like I do before, because I'm not smart enough to recognize what it is immediately. Sometimes it looks like inside zone on a broadcast. Sometimes it looks like duo. Otherwise, our D tackles, Matabike and Travis Jones. First of all, they had our only sacks on the day. Matabike's sack came after Owe won against the left tackle early. Those two also combined for 7 quarterback hits. Matabike and Travis Jones, that is. Travis Jones also, I thought, decked a running back who was trying to release inside. Can't remember which part of the game it was, maybe third quarter. Other than those two, we had 0 sacks and only 3 quarterback hits, and one of them was from Humphrey. Hamilton's injury is a real factor and concern. Anytime that he misses is going to be a big loss. Thought that was revealed in the fourth quarter when the Rams got the ball back, 8.5 minutes left, 8:40 left, whatever, and they scored 10 points on the last 2 drives. They moved the ball downfield in the pass game. Things look different to me. Have to give the Rams credit. It seemed like they had a good beat on some of our blitzes because Stafford, like I said, switched to play a couple of times. One thing to notice, I don't know if you're interested in, I'm going to do a video on the Rams offense Monday night or Tuesday. The width of their wide receivers is related to their run-pass ratio. Under center, both receivers inside the top of the numbers, I bet you that's 90% run. That's just the way McVay's offense is designed. When they're in the shotgun or not, same thing. Now, the shotgun today was 32 passes and 2 runs. There's only 2 runs there out of the shotgun. I think those numbers are telling, and I want to bring them up again and focus on the first half. Let's do it this way. There's a lot of run concepts there. It's not simplistic. Inside zone, duo, outside zone, toss, fake, jet, actual jet, whatever. But you're telling me, you know that it's 80. You're talking about 19 out of 23. I think it's 82%. Let's call it 80. We know with 80% assurity that it's going to be a run play. And in the 5 to 7 seconds before the ball is snapped, I mean, Sean McVay doesn't make it easy. That we can't do something about it to make it more difficult on them to run 4, 5, 6 yards at a pop, which is what I think they were getting in the first half, and even more in some cases. Let's do it this way. Let's say that the percentage is 90%. How high does the percent need to be for you to be pissed off that we can't do something about it to make it more difficult for them to execute? That's my problem. I've had to make decisions like that before, certainly not anywhere near the NFL level. But when you have data, you use it. If someone's going to give you a pre-snap tell, you take it. If you were walking down the street and someone said to you immediately, hey, man, that dude walking right at us, there's an 80% chance he's going to walk right up and take a swing at you. He's just that kind of guy. Something's not right with him. And you just walk right up to him and he punches you in the face and KOs you. Whose fault is it? I think it's yours. Because you had data and information prior to help you react or prepare to react. And that's why I have such frustration with watching it unfold repeatedly today and at times throughout the course of the season. Because in my opinion, it shouldn't have taken 2 brilliant possessions by Lamar in the third and fourth quarter or an unbelievable, high-effort, great energy type punt return from Tylan Wallace and a bunch of guys to defeat this Rams team that we scored 30 points on. I don't mean any disrespect to Rams fans, but they're not one of the 5, 6, 7 best teams in the NFL. You can counter and say, well, Coach, they won 3 straight games. Yeah, they beat the Cardinals and the Seahawks in that run. I don't think that we're talking about a team that looks markedly better or on par with the Dolphins and the 49ers, both of which we have to play in the last 5, 6 games of the season. Maybe you understand my frustration. Maybe you share it. Perhaps you don't. But when the potential of a first-round bye is staring you in front of your face, I think more could be done defensively to increase the level of difficulty on Stafford, McVay, and the offense. At least in those situations where we know it's 80% run and they're under center. Hell, you could do it the other way. When it's shotgun and you know it's 90% pass, how come there's not more that could be done? But in any case, Lamar was brilliant. 300-plus yards passing, 3 touchdowns, 2 long ones, which we've all been waiting on. He was able to spread the ball around to so many guys, which just illustrates the talent level we have and the spread nature of our offense at this point. Didn't think there was extreme pressure on him throughout the day, but you may have a different opinion or you may remember it more accurately than I did. We got a thrilling, amazing sequence by our punt return team to get us a win at home, keeps us in pace with the top teams in the conference. More to talk about. Forgive me for this reaction video going long and then getting out late. Visiting family, like I said, who was similarly amazed by Lamar as we all are pretty much every week. And I wanted to relay some of that information to you because it was a lot of fun for me. Appreciate you guys' time. If you think other Ravens fans would enjoy this reaction video, this look at the Ravens 37-31 overtime win over the Rams, then please consider sharing a link to this video out on social media to help this content get more reach.